the Staff Sergeant Ron Gvili. All three of those people need to be returned to Israel according to the plan, and then Hamas needs to surrender power, turn over its guns, and remove itself from politics in Gaza. I don't see that happening anytime soon. There are some Israeli officials who say that at this point, because there's only three bodies left, there's three bodies left, that at this point, the delays are not intentional. But it's been more than a month since this paper was signed, like a month and a half already. So other Israelis are saying, no, this actually is intentional, like Israeli officials. So there's a kind of a split in the government over whether or not Hamas is delaying things at this point. They've clearly delayed things until this point. So regardless of how you slice it, you know, Hamas is violating the agreement once again, and that is something that we're seeing play out. This is causing problems, obviously, for the peace plan to go forward. Peace plan, the end of the war plan to go forward, because it's not really a peace plan. Hamas has to, like I said, fulfill a lot of obligations on this 20-point plan, as does Israel. But largely the onus is on Hamas to end this war, right? They need to put down their guns. They need to withdraw from power. They need to withdraw from politics. They basically need to dissolve themselves. The probability of that happening, as I've said many times since before this peace plan was even signed, is that Hamas is not in the business of giving up power. They want to stick around. They want to be in charge of Gaza now and for the future. And they've officially rejected the ceasefire. Right? Last week, not for the first time, they said that they would not proceed with further steps in the Trump plan. They already said that pretty much the day this thing came out. Even before that, they'd made clear they don't intend, even when they signed it, right? Like the same day they signed it, officials from Hamas had said they don't intend to do all of the plan and that it's all up to negotiations. No, it's not all up to negotiations. Some of the points are very clear. They are not up to negotiations. Some of the points were still open-ended, like what is the chain of command, what is the mission, who are the troops going to be in the stabilization force, etc. But when it comes to surrendering the hostages and Hamas giving up its guns, leaving power and leaving politics in Gaza, that's not up to negotiation. Gaza cannot remain controlled by Hamas. That's just not a thing. And that's going to happen. Like Israel is not going to accept Gaza remaining in control of Hamas at the end of this fighting, right? They must leave power. Their time is up. They're done. They must be swept into the dustbin of history as an organization that has any power in Gaza. Keep in mind, they're still operating in the West Bank, Judea and Samaria. People who say, "Oh, there's no Hamas in the West Bank." No, there definitely is Hamas in the West Bank. If you don't know that, it just goes to show what you don't know about Hamas, because they very much exist in the West Bank since their founding days. Hi there. I see you. I see your messages. Hello there, Leku. So what we have right now is a situation that I've been telling you guys since before this plan is signed. Hello, the realist. I don't know what you wrote means, but I am wearing a cap on my head, a baseball cap. Kazumazumi, sorry. Am I Jewish? Yes, I am a Jew. I am Jewish. And I'm in Israel, and hello from Israel. The plan that has been in effect since it was signed by Qatar and Hamas and the EU and Israel and the UK and the US and Indonesia and Saudi Arabia, or lots of different countries, has basically been put to the test by the Hamas, who's trying to break the will of enough countries to make the deal fail. And the United States, as well as Qatar and Turkey, have all gone a bit soft on the plan. And again, the United States created this plan. This is a Trump plan, or so. Yeah. I don't know why there was an internet thing there. Again, once again, one of the hostages' bodies is supposed to be returned within the next an hour and a half, something like that, by 4 p.m. Israel time, which is about an hour and 15 minutes away from now. Your stream is lagging. Yeah, I don't know. It happens. Hello, Heather. What's up? Just talking about the recovery efforts and the handing over of one of the 3 remaining Israeli hostages, or hostages being held by Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and other terrorist groups in Gaza. Am I one of the settlers in the West Bank? I am not in the West Bank. No. So yeah, I'm not in Israel. I'm not in the West Bank or Judea and Samaria. I'm in Israel proper, or regular Israel. To answer that question, let's see. Hello, Unvli. I don't know what Unvli means, but hello to you too. Trump, Kushner, land and money project. Trump and Kushner certainly like real estate development projects, obviously, and I've said for a long time that yes, indeed, what's happening right now vis-a-vis the Trump efforts to push Israel to move the process along quicker, whatever that means, because right now the holdup isn't Israel, the holdup is the Hamas giving its weapons and the hostages. We're seeing these efforts by Trump because he very much wants to sell, he wants America to sell F-35s to Saudi Arabia and to Turkey, and he wants to sell Saudi Arabia AI chips, and of course he wants that Saudi Arabian investment money in the United States, which was announced last week by Mohammed bin Sultan, the Saudi crown prince, who is the same Saudi crown prince who has said that he would like to have peace with Israel once there is a plan for a 2-state solution and once this war is over. Which president do you think was the cutest? What is that, a joke? Daniel Hehu? I don't even... we don't vote for presidents on how cute they are. I don't really know how to answer your question other than to think that it's to say that's a funny question. But I guess you must have an opinion on that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have asked that question, or maybe you're just asking that question to be silly. Either way, whatever, if you want to share which president you think was that, feel free. So what is it? Why should the Hamas at this point, why should Hamas be delaying the return of the last 3 hostages? Well, the reason that the Hamas is delaying the return of the last 3 hostages is quite simple. They don't want to lose control. They understand that once all the hostages are back, returned to Israel, they have 0 leverage. Not that they have much at all right now. After all, they're holding 3 dead hostages, and in about an hour and 15 minutes, they'll be holding 2. One Israeli and one, I believe, Thai. Which also begs the question, why did they not... you voted 2000 Bush because he was cute. Okay, well, that's funny. Another question here. I want to go to Israel for a Bible tour without having to dodge random rockets. Yeah, you don't have to dodge random rockets on a regular basis. We are like, the war is in a state of ceasefire. Israel decimated the Hezbollah in Lebanon about a year ago, and we've had relative quiet since pretty much the beginning of this year in the north. And in the south and center area of the country, there are still occasional rocket alerts, but it is not anything like it's been over the past 2 years. And we are now technically in a ceasefire, so we're not seeing ceasefires on a regular basis in the south and center. We do still see them sometimes, but not nearly as much as it has been for the past 2 years. What do I think about going to visit the West Bank, visit Bethlehem. Oh, you can certainly go there. There are amazing sights to see there. It's absolutely amazing. If you're a tourist, it's really not a problem. You can go in all those locations. Uh, I highly recommend going with a guided tour, especially if you've never been there before, and if you don't have anybody bringing you around, like a friend or a relative or something. Go on a guided tour. There are plenty of great guided tours, and certified by the Ministry of Tourism and all that kind of stuff. Definitely check out some of those tours. I'm not going to give you any particular ones to look up, but just ask your travel agent or something like that to help you book a guided tour. You will have an amazing time because there's just so many incredible sights to see. So, do you think it's a sign for one of my friends to get glasses? You can see. I don't understand the question. How's it relevant to what we're talking about? How many rooster take? And like seared. Okay. Sure, Daniel. Um, so ask yourself this: there are still 3 hostages remaining in Gaza right now. Zuma, I'm not Zumi. I'm not ignoring your questions. I don't see your questions. Or why didn't I stay in America? Was that your question? I didn't stay in America because I moved to Israel because I wanted to be here for some very specific reasons. Uh, More than 27 years ago, and been here a long time. So yeah, that's why I moved out of America. Uh, what do you do? Oh, oh, you are. Okay. I work. My glasses are strong for my right eye. Okay, whatever. Um, anyway, ask yourself this: why didn't they release the Thai hostage when the Thai hostage deal was done in November, December, something like that of 2023? Why didn't they release every single one, including this last one that they're still holding? And keep in mind, the one that they're releasing today is probably one of the 2 Israelis, based on the words that we've heard from them. Apparently, there's some brain damage. I have to get that fixed. Um, the Thai government did a deal with Hamas early 2024, I think, or late 2023, to release all of the Thai hostages. One of them has not been returned yet. And based on the statements we've heard from Palestinian Islamic Jihad, who said they recovered one of the uh, foreign enemies or whatever they call them, they used terminology to basically explain that the person that they're holding is not Israel, the Thai foreigner, right? Therefore, we can safely presume that the person being released today is not the foreigner, which is a real disappointment, to say the least. Again, that hostage who's being returned is being returned in about an hour and 10 minutes from now. Let me just see if I can give you the quote from it. Did that go away? Here we go. The Islamic Jihad said it had located another body after 5 days of searching. Quote, "We found today the corpse of one of the enemy's captives during search and excavation in an area under Israeli army control in central Gaza," the group's military wing said. So that means that they found the corpse after searching, obviously with permission by Israel to be in the areas that Israel controls. They found the body of a corpse of one of the enemy's captives. Well, Thailand is not an enemy of Hamas, are they? Well, of course they are, kind of. Unless the person was actually a Muslim, right? Thailand is not, so who knows? Maybe they actually meant it's the Thai man. But that kind of language is language that you would normally associate with Hamas describing Israel, an Israeli corpse, an enemy captive, right? How come Jewish people are so perfect? Nobody's perfect, man. We have flaws. Everybody has flaws. Did I run away? No, I didn't run away. I moved here to do something for Israel. to do some very specific things for Israel. And I had other reasons to want to move here, so I did. What about the tens of thousands of hostages in the torture chambers? What are you talking about? What tens of thousands of hostages in what torture chambers? What are you talking about? Anyway, yes, stop trolling if you are trolling, which it seems you might be. How you think you SNBCR? Are you talking to me? I thought all the living hostages are free. Daniel Hiho, all the living hostages, but there are still 3 hostages presumed dead. Now I say presumed dead because, for all you know, maybe there are actually more living hostages, but maybe the 3 hostages that we presume are dead are in fact alive. But they said they found a body. So if they found a body, that means that we can presume that's dead. So, but there still could be the 2 remaining hostages might still be alive. That's a miracle. Maybe they've been playing a ridiculous game of trying to fool us, like pranking us on the way out. Ha ha. Don't put it past them to do something sick like that. There's a very high probability that the 3 remaining hostages are dead. But wonder of wonder, miracle of miracles. Strange probabilities happen all the time. Of all living, yes. So again, yes, all the living hostages are free. Good evening from Sweden. Oh, hello, Sweden. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you, Tommy. Nice to get your greeting, and hello to you. Also to you, Mila. Thank you for your greeting. Redditor. I don't know what you mean by Redditor, Daniel. But I am not a Redditor. No, I know what Redditors are. I am not a Redditor. If you don't mind me asking, what country are you currently residing in? Fat Bong Shaggy. I am in Israel. Saying hello and shalom to you from Israel. So somebody asked, how do you know what you're talking about, or how do you think you know what you're talking about? Okay, well, I live in this country in Israel. I spend a lot of time here. I've been here for a long time. I have been dealing with this subject matter not just in my personal life, because we are all affected by it in Israel. So we all literally know this stuff in one way or another, and in terms of how it affects our day-to-day lives. Yes, I live in Israel, Mila. I am in Israel. But in addition to that, I have spent a long time dealing with this subject professionally, academically and professionally in other ways, as well as in the military and other things. So that's how I know the subject. I spent a long time writing many things about this, newspaper articles, books, whatever, blog posts, all for many, many years, doing video recordings, explaining to people things about what's happening in the situation. I know this stuff personally. I grew up in a family that is deeply affected by this stuff since a very, very, very long time before I was born. I'm very familiar with the broader topic and the specifics of the discussion that relate to this issue globally and regionally and locally. Let's see, it makes sense as to why you have a hand in the current subject. Literally live in the situation. Yes, I do live literally in the situation. I don't understand why people not dealing with that situation have any say. Well, people have opinions about things that they don't really experience. That's normal. So I know there's a lot of people who say, well, you really should go and see the place or live in it or whatever in order to have an opinion. In a way, that's a good argument, especially if you're dealing with something on a professional level. But if you're just a person sharing your opinions, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's free speech and democracy and whatever. It's not even free speech. It's just say what you want. Like, free speech is the right to criticize your own government without fear of reprise from the government. So that's, if you're talking about another country, or other countries and what their international relations situation is and why things are happening in their country the way they are, and you're not being insightful or hateful or doing all those things that are usually banned in whatever countries, share your opinions. You don't need to be an expert on a topic. But that said, if you have some amount of traction or audience or whatever, I mean, I have nothing audience, so mine doesn't even count, right? And even though I know this topic very, very well, relative to most people. But if you have hundreds of thousands of people who follow you, or millions of people who follow you or subscribe to you or whatever, you do bear some responsibility to get the material information that you're sharing correct, right? Because you're influencing a lot of people, just like a newspaper or a TV station or a radio station used to do, right? So it's important to know the topics that you talk about when you're a professional, or it's important for your team to know what they're talking about when they produce information for you to present as a person, an anchor person talking, or a newspaper journalist, or TV reporter, or whatever it might be, talking about a subject. Um, yes, but as individuals, I think everybody should always have the right to just say what they want, like, because sometimes you get crazy ideas, in fact, many times, but often you get great insights from the average person. And I think that can be very useful. We've seen that many times in history. Right? Well, everyone's got an opinion. Yeah, of course, opinion. Yeah, okay. Yes, everyone has opinions. That's what I mean. I'm okay with full release of information, however, heavily biased information, opinions end up fueling problem. Sure, whenever heavily biased opinions do end up fueling issues, and misinformation is not great, but I'd rather have misinformation than no information. I'd rather be able to parse truth from fiction or noise from signal, um, than to have no signal at all. Yeah, at least one opinion is correct. Maybe you can have an entire situation and everybody's opinion can be wrong. That is possible, and there could be many more than two people involved in having different opinions, and they can still all be wrong. Right? But at least one opinion could be correct, and the one opinion that could be correct may also be helpful to resolve a situation, right? It may be the way forward. And we only suss that out with the marketplace of ideas remaining open and free. So that's why I'm for, First Amendment rights, whatever, or something similar to it. Pretty much whatever country a person lives in, I think we should all have that basic right as humans. Unfortunately, too many countries do not have that right, and that is a huge problem. All right. Well, let me go. Hello, old decaying man. Okay, sure. Well, I guess we all are. I guess. Um, See, not everybody can do that. If the stream of data is flooded with nonsense, it ends up camouflaging the actual information. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, but I'm simply saying, yeah, sure. Again, of course, if you flood the zone with garbage, you end up with a lot of garbage. And we are seeing that right now. And yes, it would be great if the zone would be flooded with more accurate information, but it is always going to be flooded with tons of garbage. Think about it this way: if you take 1 million people, some of them are going to have better than average information, some of them are going to have lower than average information, and the average is going to be in the middle, which means half the information is going to be below average by definition every time, and half of it is going to be above average by definition. Or, the average line will be in the average, but most people aren't exactly at the average, right? It'll be roughly half above and roughly half below, okay? And whatever small percentage on the actual average line, which is usually a very small percentage. I don't block little. Okay. Well, I hope you don't have that problem anymore, Kevin. It sounds like something that really you should discuss somewhere else, but I wish you success. And it's sad if that's happening to you, because it sounds it sounds sad. Um, where are you from? I am American and French and Israeli. Wish you well, Kev. Yes, exactly. I wish you well, Kev. Oh, your name is Yash? Yash Measure? Hello. Is that short for anything? Is that like my name, Yasha? Some people call me that sometimes as a nickname or whatever. I agree. Everything has a source, and those sources get clouded. So does the info. It's like a lake. At the top, it's clear, but deeper you go, the murkier it gets. Sure. Yes, absolutely. Um, there's some, I mean, there's a bunch of comments that are being held for review, and I don't know, see all of them. Kevin, you have an issue that sounds like it's something for definitely another channel. Maybe go look up some channels that are relevant for that kind of thing and talk to the people in the live stream there. This is really not that kind of channel. But I wish you luck and success. I'm sure you can. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank all of you again for being here. And please do me a favor and click the subscribe button, click the like, share this, leave a comment, do all those things to help the YouTube algorithm gods, as they say, find my way to more people through YouTube. That would be fantastic. I know there's a catchier way people say it. I've heard them say it. I don't bother trying to be all cool like that. Sorry. Anyway, if you want to subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Please just punched. I'm closing in on 500 whopping subscribers. Do you think you guys can help me get? I think I have like 3 more subs. So if 3 of you haven't subscribed and could subscribe, you'd get me to 500 subs, and then push me over one more, and I'm above 500 subscribers. How exciting would that be? So just like 4 of you would subscribe right now, 3 of you to get me to 500, and 1 more to get me right over 500. Let's do it, and hopefully I will see you in the next video, and hopefully we'll be at that 500 follower mark or subscriber mark on YouTube. Fantastic, that would be. Really appreciate it, and I appreciate your time. Do the latest and greatest info about. Oh, hey, thanks, Samuel. I appreciate the subscribe and the like. Thanks for means a lot to me. Stay up to date with what's going on in the Middle East. I talk about stuff, I analyze stuff, I break down information about this topic, as well as I talk about other topics. I do talk about crypto and marketing and AI and tech and stuff like that, because that's what I've been doing for many decades professionally, among other things. But I do also talk about geopolitics because, well, I've done a lot of stuff in that realm for many, many, many years. So look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Until then, thanks for everything. Thanks for being here, and peace. Shalom.